Insurance isn't one size fits all, and shopping for it shouldn't feel like squeezing into something that just doesn't fit. That's why drivers have enjoyed Progressive's Name Your Price tool for years. With the Name Your Price tool, you tell them what you want to pay, and they show you options that fit your budget. Enough hunting for discounts, trying to calculate rates, and tinkering with coverages. Maybe you're picking out your very first policy, or maybe you're just looking for something that works better for you and your family. Either way, they make it simple to see your options. No guesswork, no surprises. Ready to see how easy and fun shopping for car insurance can be? Visit Progressive.com and give the Name Your Price tool a try. Take the stress out of shopping and find coverage that fits your life, on your terms. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Price and coverage match limited by state law.
You said this place was steps from the water.
We just haven't found the steps yet.
How much did we save?
Enough.
Enough to get lost?
Or you could book a stay with Hilton.
Welcome to your oceanfront room, just steps from the water.
The Hilton sale is on now. Book on Hilton.com or the Hilton app and save up to 20% to get the stay you expected. When you want savings, not surprises, it matters where you stay. Hilton, for the stay.
Some things are impossible to miss, like an elephant in the room, or a bull in a china shop, or this season's amazing offers, brought to you by PayPal. Discover offers from hundreds of brands like Viator, Allbirds, and Tory Burch right in the PayPal app. Save an offer before you check out with PayPal and earn unlimited rewards. Download the PayPal app to get started. Terms and exclusions apply. See paypal.com/rewards terms.
Study and play come together on a Windows 11 PC. And for a limited time, college students get the best of both worlds. Get the Unreal College Deal. Everything you need to study and play with select Windows 11 PCs. Eligible students get a year of Microsoft 365 Premium and a year of Xbox Game Pass Ultimate with a custom color Xbox wireless controller. Learn more at windows.com/student offer. While supplies last. Ends June 30th. Terms at aka.ms/collegepc.
LinkedIn is pretty amazing at helping you grow your small business. We cannot stop your new clients from emailing you at 3 a.m. We can help you sell, market, and hire in one place. We cannot help you be in 3 places at once. And while we can't help you organize your calendar, LinkedIn can help you land more clients so you have a calendar to organize. Grow your small business on LinkedIn. Learn more at linkedin.com/smallbusiness.
Hey there, Duke fans. Welcome to DBR Bites, episode 165. It is Wednesday, May 27th, 2026. And funny enough, we had a couple of episodes that we were planning on recording over the last couple of days, and some things didn't work out. So we are here to kind of compile a couple of things that we have seen, just bits and pieces of news here, and also one exercise that we will have after the break. I'm Donald Wine. I'm your host for this episode. Jason Evans is with me. Jason, how you doing this afternoon?
Yeah, so Donald, just in terms of transparency and being honest with the audience. So yesterday, there was a whole episode we did, really nice episode, really good information. Jason forgot to hit the record button. This is the third time in DBR. DBR has been around, we're over 1,000 episodes, I'm sure at this point, or something close to that. We've been around.
When you combine the bites and the full episodes, sure, absolutely.
Yeah, and some emergencies and Road to Glory, Return to Glory. We're over 1,000, I'm sure. In that history, I have forgotten to record 3 times. 3 times. One was the time I sat down with Bobby Hurley for an interview. It took me months of talking to the Arizona State Sports Information Department to get this interview with Bobby Hurley. I had like an hour long. It was just me. You weren't there. We couldn't arrange it at a time that would work out for you or Sam to be there. I had this like hour-long conversation with Bobby Hurley, gave me great insight into the back-to-back national title teams, all this other kind of stuff. I had forgotten to hit record. It's gone. It's gone forever. Time number 2, legend. Absolute legend.
The lost episode.
The lost episode. Duke beats Louisville. One of the great, the Zion, RJ, Just one
Cam
of the
Reddish, yeah.
Yeah, one of the great one of the great comebacks of all time. Well, we landed down like 16 with like 6 minutes left or something absurd. Like, I forget what it was. Just outrageous. And you and me and Sam hopped on. I think 2 of the 3 of us were drunk. It was nothing but vibes. Incredible stuff. Lost forever because I didn't hit the record button. And then this is the 3rd time where it's happened. And this is much less epic than those. And in a minute, we'll talk a little bit about what was not recorded. And then again, in the interest of transparency, there was someone we were supposed to record with today, a very, very prominent person. I'm not going to name him, but he's someone that people know. And I guess we got wires crossed or something. We had a few messages go back and forth and the such, but he didn't show up. Not his fault. He's a busy guy. He's an important guest. Not blaming anybody, but he didn't make it. So we're just winging it here, buddy.
and we'll get those people back on soon.
Yes.
We'll just set some new dates. I know Jason has some travel coming up. I also have some travel coming up. Scott is going to basically be co-hosting this for a couple of weeks while we get our brains in. There's a lot coming up. So don't worry. We got plenty of stuff to happen. So in the interest of transparency, that happened. So we decided, hey, let's pivot here and let's talk about a couple of things. But first, Jason, before we talk about a little bit of what you learned yesterday, let's talk about the fact that, just quickly, K Academy, one of the great weeks of the year. K Academy started this week in Durham. It seems also within that's usually when the next year's team reports, and save for Joaquim Boumtje-Boumtje, all of the 2026-27 Blue Devils are in attendance. Jason, this is the year that you and I opine about what would we do if we were at K Academy.
Oh, wow.
Costs a little bit of cash, but they do get some cool stuff and opportunity of a lifetime. I hope to be in shape enough to do it one day.
Yeah, I may be reaching the outside band of I am in, full transparency. And honestly, I'm 59. There's a lot more gray on my head than it's still brown, still mostly brown, but there's some gray there. And I'm not in the shape that I was a few years ago. I definitely could have entertained this a few years ago, and I might have even tried to set aside the cash for it. But my understanding is that the price of the price to attend has gone up in recent years. I believe it's $15,000 at this point. That's a nice vacation there, Donald.
Yeah. And you choose that every year, it seems like.
Yeah, I'm not sure my wife will go for me doing that anytime soon. And like I said, I'm not really at the age where it necessarily. There are people older than me who do this, but they're in better shape than I am. But really cool time to interact with former players, current players, the Duke social media folks who, bar none, better than everyone. I've been putting out some photos, some videos, and things like that. We're getting little hints and snippets. Some of these guys look great. But you see Elton Brand?
Yeah.
Elton Brand looks
like he can play right now.
Dude, usually when dudes retire, they put on Elton Brand looks like he looks 15 pounds lighter than he was in his entire NBA career. He looks fabulous.
He still has eligibility left, right? Like if the NCAA is in this flux right now, we can get Elton Brand back for another year.
Yeah. I don't know about that. Yeah. No, he looks like he could play for sure. In terms of the current players, Patrick Gongba to me looked like he'd slimmed up a little bit. He looks really good. And I don't think I saw a boot on his foot, which is good. Pat had been sporting the boot for a while, so apparently the boot's gone. That's all good news. We got all the freshmen there other than JBB, who, hey, understandable. He literally like 2 days ago, he was playing for the Adidas Next Gen title game. So understandable that he hasn't quite made it to campus yet, but it's good to get those other guys there and begin, getting them acclimated with the program. I saw a lot of Drew Sharnowski, a lot of Sharnowski photos.
Someone posted that Sharnowski in one of the pictures looked like another Cooper Flag.
He looks so much like
brother.
Cooper Flag. It's scary.
If he can play like him, I think we're straight.
I think it's the haircut. I think
it's definitely the buzz.
Yeah, he looked a lot like Cooper Flag. I thought that was something that stuck. I thought the same thing, but like even before I saw the person comment on that, I saw a photo and I was like, is that Cooper? And they went, oh no, that's Sharnowski, but he's got the flag look going on for him. Yeah, all those guys look great, and then of course all the alums who are back, just a slew of them, and they're just having a great time. This is the real life brotherhood, man.
Yeah. I always love this year because this time of year, because even from afar, right, we get to see so many of those guys come back. I mean, Nolan Smith, who led his team, Tennessee State, to the NCAA tournament for the first time in 30 years. Like, he's back as a coach. Quinn Cook is back as a coach. They're doing a collaboration tomorrow. I'm driving through Durham, but I won't be able to make it there. But again, it's cool to kind of see those type of events happening with so many guys on campus. I saw a picture of our friend, the dog, Kenny Denard. He's at Pinehurst with some of his team. You know, these are things that you could do apparently at K Academy. You can just go play golf at Pinehurst like it's nothing. But I just appreciate the fact that they have this, and for the participants, it's a chance to rub shoulders with some of these guys and learn from them and just take it in. If you recall, Jason, this time last year at K Academy, we found out that Ty Thornton was going to become an assistant coach at Duke through some people who had said that at K Academy. So maybe this is the time of year where we find out who replaces Evan Brad's on the staff for next year. You never know what happens at K Academy.
Yeah, and by the way, if you are someone who is at K Academy, if you know someone who is at K Academy right now, feel free to talk to us. We'd love your inside intel. Give us some hints here, folks. What are you seeing from the players? What are you hearing when you're around there? Yeah. Let us know. We'll keep you anonymous. Don't worry. We won't spill the beans about who's talking to us, but we'd love to hear from folks.
And if you've been to K Academy multiple times and you get all the free swag and you're like, I just don't have any room in my house for any of this, email us, dbrpodcast@gmail.com. Jason and I would love to take some of it off of your hands. It looked like some really cool stuff. So you don't necessarily, if you want to sign your jersey and give it to us, I will frame it and put it somewhere in my apartment. That's what we can promise you. But Jason, speaking of Boumtje-Boumtje, you mentioned yesterday's episode, which was lost to the world, and like I said, we'll get John Kepovich back at some point. But
right, we didn't even tell anyone that. So the episode was Scott and I actually sat down and chatted with John Chipkevich of Draft Express. He's their director of scouting, and he had been in Athens over the weekend. He saw all the games at the Adidas Next Gen tournament, the very, very best players in Europe, along with the best players from the Adidas circuit, the Adidas high school circuit, the 3 SSB circuit, and these are class of 2027 and 2028 guys. These are not guys who are about to come into college, but guys who are going to come into college a year from now. But it includes 3 or 4 guys who are like top 10 members of the 2027 and 2028 classes in American high schools. And they played against these top tier players from Europe. And what John said was, and this should not come as a surprise to anyone, Joaquim Boumtje-Boumtje was the best player there. No question about it. I mean, we heard he won the MVP, but John Chipkevich said dude was the best player there and raved about his game. And what intrigued me was he raved about his feel. He raved about, his body, how he looks on the floor, how ready he seems for the next level. And he talked about the fact that if you put a small guy on him, he'll take that dude in the post and just abuse him. If you put a bigger guy on him, he'll go outside and shoot 3-pointers over that guy or just drive around him. John talked about JBB's feel for the game, his understanding, his passing ability, his ability to see the angles, the geometry of basketball. And John Chipkevich is someone who watches American high schoolers. Look, again, director of scouting for Draft Express. This is a guy who's looking at players both in high school, in college, and internationally to figure out who's the NBA interested in here. And he said he's seen Cam Williams, he's seen Boom Boom, he's seen JBB. He really firmly believes that JBB will be the starter at power forward for the Duke Blue Devils next year, and that he will be an instant impact player. Scott and I kind of talked very briefly, Donald, about the fact that a month ago, there were not a lot of us who'd ever heard Joaquim Boumtje-Boumtje's name before.
Mm-hmm.
And, we heard Duke was interested in him. You're like, oh, here's the depth. Remember, here's the depth piece that John Shire wants. Guy who can maybe, play some 4, but also maybe play a little bit of depth at the 5, perhaps. And then we heard a little bit more. We saw some tape on him and stuff. You went, oh, maybe he's not just a depth piece. Maybe this is a real rotation guy. We're at the point now. People are like, is this one of the top couple guys on the entire Duke team at 16 years old? So that was the conversation we had. And again, we're going to get John back here on the DBR podcast in a few weeks after the World Cup's done, after I'm back from my vacation. We'll get John back on and he can give you more detail on all this stuff. But I'm just going to tell you, raves. This dude raving about how good Boumtje-Boumtje is.
And it would be great if we have found that hidden gem in Boumtje-Boumtje. I'll tell you a little analogy, Jason. I watch a lot of Indian and Premier League cricket. It's the top cricket league in the world, and their playoffs are on right now. But one of the stars of the league is this kid named Suravanshi. He is 15 years old and has been playing professionally since he was just shy of 14 years old. Like he was 13 when he first let up. And when you see him play, he's mashing the ball, right? He's dominating to a point where you're just thinking, not only is this kid good, he might be the best player on the field. At 16 years old, if Boumtje-Boumtje can play even to the level where someone in any gym can look at him and go, that guy right there is the best guy I've seen on the floor. In a league in college that he's entering that's going to have 25-year-olds, literally there are going to be guys who are going to be 9-10 years older than him playing on the same floor. And if he's able to show out as one of the best players, if not the best player on the floor, this is a huge development. And so I'm not going to go so far as to say that he's going to start over Cam Williams, but also, again, Cam Williams is going to be here this summer. They're going to be able to compete against each other and grow together. And this may just open up the combinations for Jon Scheyer.
Yeah.
Where, hey, if we have foul trouble, cool. Let's have a small lineup where our small guy is Boumtje-Boumtje at the 5 at 7'1", and Cam Williams is still at the 4, and they're able to play together on the floor. Like there's going to be a lot of interesting opportunities if the progression of both of them throughout this summer show that they're ready to get big minutes.
Well, it goes down to something that we've talked about a little bit, but I just want to highlight again very briefly, which is the remarkable positional versatility that Duke has, because we have so many guys who have the size, the physical body to be able to play at different places on the floor, but also have the skill to be able to play at different places on the floor. We've got 6'11", 7-footers who can play probably all the way down to the 3, down to that wing kind of position. And we've got guys on the wing who have the size to be able to play all the way down to the 4 if you needed them to. You tell me even if you tell me Caleb Foster, it's not inconceivable that a guy like Caleb Foster could be playing, if you're doing a 4-out guy. He would not be completely pushed around and abused if you had to play him in that kind of position. Now, I don't think that scenario is going to end up happening, but again, the positional versatility of this Duke team means that Jon Scheyer is going to have. So I didn't even mention Sebastian Wilkins is a perfect example of great positional versatility,
who can go from the 2 to the 5, right, at certain points.
Yeah. So the options that Jon Scheyer is going to have, and of course we're bringing this up in this moment because K Academy's begun, and for the first time, other than Boumtje-Boumtje, Jon Scheyer is getting to see all these guys together on the floor. I guarantee you, already by this point, they've snuck in the gym together and they're doing some runs. Mm-hmm. And Shirer's watching, or one of the assistant coaches. There are rules about who can watch and what they. But I guarantee you, we're starting to get some senses. The coaches, at least, are starting to get some senses of what combinations work, what do guys need to work on, what's happening, all that other kind of stuff. It's gonna start coming together. And it's just super exciting. I can't even believe how stacked this roster is.
And with K Academy being there, you don't have Jon Scheyer and 4 assistant coaches. You have Jon Scheyer and like 30 assistant coaches, because all those former players are trying to watch them. Some of them maybe even running with them, and they're the ones that are kind of instilling what Duke basketball is all about to the guys that are new to it, and basically this is kind of an indoctrination period for them. So I really, again, I love this week because everything seems to start coming together, and this is when the summer of grinding to become the team that could win a national championship begins. So, Jason, speaking of guys in the Brotherhood, let's turn to the NBA quickly because while one series is done, the New York Knicks are in the finals for the first time since 1999. On the other side, we have the Thunder and we have the San Antonio Spurs, and our boy Jared McCain. He's not being a guy that's coming off the bench and doing numbers anymore. Last few games, he's been starting and doing numbers. And Jason, talk a little bit about what you've seen from McCain on the floor very quickly. I know we've talked about what he's done so far in this playoffs, but it has not dropped, and he's become a very important player for the Thunder as they try to defend their title.
Yeah. So in the latest game, the game that happened last night against San Antonio, when they announced the starting lineups for the Oklahoma City Thunder. Now, it's worth noting there are guys who are injured for the Thunder. So this is not necessarily like the Thunder rolling out their 5 best players, but their 5 best players who are not hurt at the moment. Jared McCain is among them. And his game started a little slow. Jared wasn't great at the start, but he ends up scoring 20 points in this contest. The notion that Jared McCain, is a back end of the rotation guy has pretty much been eliminated. He is clearly one of the really important players for this team. He ends up playing the second most minutes of anybody on the Oklahoma City team in this game. Like Shai Gilgeous, SGA, played the most minutes. The second most minutes of anybody on the Thunder was Jared McCain, and the game was reasonably close. It was, OKC ended up winning by 13, but it wasn't like they were leading by 20 the whole second half, and that Jared was picking up minutes at mop up time. He was playing in a very competitive game and playing really well. Like I said, 20 points, and also we should not ignore the fact he was the subject of a pretty brutal mauling by Mason Plumlee at the very end of the game. There was a play, and let's be clear. There are a lot of people who say that Victor Wembanyama put out a hit on Jared McCain. That Wemby whispered something in Mason Plumlee's. It was Mason Plumlee and who was the other guy?
I can't remember.
It may have been. I don't remember. Luke Cornett or someone like that. Bismarck Biyombo. I don't remember who it was. But Mason Plumlee whispered something in their ears, and Victor Wembanyama whispered something in their ears, and Mason Plumlee went out there and immediately plowed into Jared McCain, into the back of Jared McCain, in a play that wasn't officially a flagrant foul and wasn't officially like intentional, but man, sure looked flagrant and sure looked intentional, didn't it? And Jared went down hard, but he was fine, But yeah, it was a little bit of.
It was a message sender.
It was a little bit Dookie on Dookie crime. That's the way I referred to it.
Yeah, Plumlee said, "I know we're part of the Brotherhood, but right now I got to send a message. My best player has asked me to deliver this message, and here it is. You've been served." And so, I think Jared McCain and how he's come up, like first of all, like the Thunder getting lucky in a way and kind of fleecing the Sixers in getting rid of Jared McCain and saying, yeah, we'll take this guy that you don't really use and he's not really a part of your plans. And now guys are looking at now this guy can be a starter next year. Or again, if some of these guys come back healthy, he's easily one of the first guys off the bench to light it up from beyond the arc. And so I'm really, really happy for him. Their game 6, I believe, is tomorrow, Jason. So they have a night off, and they're up 3-2, the Thunder, in the series. So one more win, they get past with Victor Wembanyama, and then they meet the machine that is the New York Knicks. And I will tell you, Jason, I was in the city yesterday on Monday when they clinched the sweep over the Cavs. That city was buzzing. I don't know if people are ready for the Knicks to win a title because New York City it'll look like Gotham from old Batman movies, where that sort of thing. So I'm very, very curious to see how they will do. Jason, let's take a quick break. On the other side, we're going to get to this exercise we're talking about. A couple of you sent in some questions, and we found one that we think you'll enjoy. So stick around.
Kayak gets my flight, hotel, and rental car right, so I can tune out travel advice that's just plain wrong.
Bro, Skycoin. Way better than points.
Never fly during a Scorpio full moon.
Just tell the manager you'll sue. Instant room upgrade.
Stop taking bad travel advice. Start comparing hundreds of sites with Kayak and get your trip right. Kayak. Got that right.
You don't wash your jersey during a win streak. You don't switch seats when your team's up big. And you definitely don't shave during the playoffs. When things are working, you don't change them. That's why when you drink Jägermeister, you drink it ice cold. Anything else? Well, that'd just be bad luck. Drink it cold or don't drink it at all. Jägermeister. Damn, that's cold.
Drink responsibly. Jägermeister liqueur, 35% alcohol by volume. Imported by Mast Jägermeister, U.S. White Plains, New York.
Have you ever rearranged your furniture and discovered the carpet underneath looks brand new while the rest of it looks, well, not so new? It's time for a carpet upgrade. At the Home Depot, we have stylish choices at simple prices from all the top brands. Best of all, we can install it for you, starting at only 49 cents per square foot. So all you have to do is pick your perfect floor. Start your carpet project today at the Home Depot. How doers get more done. Exclusions apply for licenses. See homedepot.com/license numbers.
Okay, class, let's begin.
Psst, love your boots. I just sold a pair like that on eBay.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it took like 2 seconds to list, and they sold almost immediately. I've been selling everything lately. Some chunky boots, a faux fur coat I never wore, and a vintage chair that was more of an expensive clothing rack.
You know, I actually bought these on eBay. Wait, are you Kitty Sell Stuff from Brooklyn?
Okay, quiet, please.
Find what you love, sell what you don't. eBay. Things people love.
Adobe Firefly is the all-in-one creative studio with AI-powered image and video editing for today's creative process. Built for creators of every kind, Firefly helps you generate, edit, and experiment fast. Because the asks aren't getting smaller, the budgets aren't getting bigger, and the timelines, oh yeah, still tight. With all the best creative AI models in one place, Firefly brings your ideas to life. Unlock a better way to make with Adobe Firefly.
All right, we are back. We have talked about some of the Brotherhood news over the past couple of days and guys coming back to campus and everything. But now let's get into this fun question that we have. It's from Zachary. He did not give his last name, but Zachary sent a question, and he basically said, you guys have kind of not talked about this, but he wanted to know who our favorite Duke player was. And he also said, if you want to do just single player, if you want to make a starting five, go for it. So, Zachary, we're going for it. Instead of doing just one player, because I have said many times on the show that Shane Battier is my favorite player of all time. Jason, I believe you have mentioned your favorite player as well on this show. It just in passing and just talking about some of these great teams that we love so much. But we decided that we're going to do a starting five of our favorite players of all time. Now, caveat for this, everybody. This is not the best five of all time. It doesn't have to be. But this is the five from point guard to center, the five guys that Jason and I feel we enjoyed watching the most. The guys, and they could be from different eras. They could be from the same team. Whoever we pick are these five guys that we said, these are the five that if I could watch them back in college again, I would take it in a heartbeat. So, Jason, I'm going to start with you. We're going to go position by position here. Who is your favorite at the point guard position?
So, yeah, and again, favorite is important here. And to me, I sort of went in my gut, who is the guy who made me giddy? Who's the guy who I was just like, I'd start giggling, laughing, just having the best time watching this guy play basketball. My point guard is Jay Will. And it's because dude could just, there were times he would go on a heater and you were just like, you wipe your hands, you're like, this game's done. It's all over. Obviously everyone talks about the Maryland game, gone in 54 seconds. But there were other games where he would do that earlier in the game and you're like, oh, I'm going to get to relax for the next 30 minutes because this game is not a contest because Jay Will is just doing ridiculous things. Dude's ability to shoot from the outside and also take it to the hole practically unmatched in Duke history. God, he was so much fun to watch. I smile every time I think back on how great he was as a Duke player. And so he was an easy choice for me at the point guard.
And I'm going to say, just for the record, all these, I'm going to be like, excellent choice, Jason, excellent choice. Because Jay Will is one of the best that there is, and he was so fun to watch. Mine, Jason, I'm going to stick with the best class that has ever been at Duke University, and that is the class of 2004. All of you out there are free to disagree, and I will tell you, you're free to be wrong in your opinion of who it is, because it is the class of 2004. And I'm going to have to go with number 21, Chris Duhon. He's obviously the guy that came in with me. I didn't play on the team. I'm talking like I'm a member of the Brotherhood, but to be able to have a guy be so important to the program that you entered school with and you graduated with is special. And so I got to see literally every game that Chris Duhon played in a Duke uniform. He didn't have to be the best player, but at times he was absolutely the most important player for so many different teams and so many different moments. The 2001 team, Jason, the fact that he moved into the starting lineup was a key piece of that team coming together and going forth to win a national championship while Carlos Boozer was sitting out with a broken foot. But also in his later years, he was able to become a guy who was great on defense. He was excellent distributor of the basketball. He made key shots when he needed to. He didn't have to defer, but he did sometimes to guys. And it felt like he was able to play with any one of the many stars that he played with. So, when you look back and you think about a guy that you came into school with and you left school with, and you were able to say, that guy is literally one of the great players in Duke history, a guy that everybody knows and loves. I'm glad Chris Duhon was the guy that is a member of the class of 2004. He's my starting point guard.
Look, I got no problem with that. And now you're making me think I really needed to take Danny Ferry in one of these spots.
Yeah, I mean, see, there's so many, and this is just the starting five, right? We could have a whole roster, and I think we would find some guys that missed the cutting room floor. But give me your two. Who's your two?
I went with JJ Redick. I'm sorry, but there's no one who could bomb away from distance the way JJ could. And I don't even need to say much more than that. Just watching JJ Redick shoot from long range, the quickness of his release. I mean, folks, JJ averaged, what was it, like 27.5 points a game as a senior or something like that? If you think about it, it's ridiculous. It is outrageous how great a shooter he was at the college level. We've never seen anything. We've never seen anything like it. So that was an easy, literally, I think that was the first one I filled in. I went shooting guard. That's JJ.
I mean, Jason, I have to agree. He's on my list as well. And again, a guy that I got to see up close and personal in college, a guy I had classes with in college. But the number of games where you look at his stat line, you go, that stat line shouldn't exist for the number of points that he had, right? It's not like he went to the line 87 times a game, but there's that one game, I think it was against Virginia, where he was 9 for 11 for 41 points, and the only two shots he missed. The only two shots he missed were like 3-pointers from like 45 feet that everyone gasped because he normally made those. He was the first Duke player that I got to see up close where if you saw him walk down the middle of the Bryan Center, you knew that he was within range to hit a 3-pointer in Cameron. Like, he had that kind of range, and he showed it wherever he went. And Jason, I will add that he did it with so much hostility coming against him when he was on the road. Nobody, maybe Christian Laettner, but nobody in my mind received more hate on the road in a Duke uniform than JJ Redick. And every single time he was able to just wire through it. And sometimes, in the case of several games against Maryland, send them home crying with a huge performance where even Maryland alums like Scott Van Pelt are like, guys, he torched you. You got to stop this because you're only making him mad. And when he gets mad, he somehow played better. JJ Redick, I'm glad he's on both of our lists. But now let's talk about the three. This is where we were talking offline. There's a couple of directions you can go with this, but who's your three?
Yeah, I was having real trouble on this spot. For some reason, like, all my favorites are guys who either easily fall into the 1-2 or the 4-5. And I I don't know if people would say this is fudging or not. I went with Shane Battier. I sort of think Shane's probably more a 4. That's pretty much what he is. But in the NBA, he played a 3, and he certainly played the 3 some at Duke. No one in Duke history can match the defense that Shane Battier plays. Watching Shane clamp down on the opposing team was just like a thing of beauty. And by the time Shane got to be, late in his junior year and his entire senior year, he was pretty damn good on offense too. So that's my choice.
I also went with Shane, but I'll tell you that I didn't have to fudge this one because I think when you look at the teams that he played on, he played the 3. Now, could he play the 4 and the 5? Absolutely. Could he play the 1 and 2? Absolutely. Is he, in my mind, the greatest college basketball player that ever was? Absolutely. I'm not going to stop. I could go on for 3 hours about how much Shane Battier means to me and how, honestly, I became a Duke fan in full because of the fact that he went to Duke and I was able to follow his career, knowing him, for the year that we spent in high school together and the year at Duke together. He's been my favorite. He will always be my favorite Dukie. Let's move to the number 4, Jason. I'm going to take privilege because this is where I start to fudge a little bit. I went with Grant Hill because Grant Hill, if you think about one of the best players ever. He's a guy that I got to appreciate more after he left Duke, but watching him at Duke, he was that guy you're just like, you can't hate him, man. He's so damn good. Like, everything he did felt effortless. He had the pressure of kind of being this anointed player, right? Not just from when he stepped foot at Duke because of his dad, right? Calvin Hill, and how he was as a football player, but also his mom, his dearly departed mother, who's super, super nice. She had this aura about her as well. And that, I'm sure, added to the prestige and the pressure of him to perform the way he did. And he is, I think, most people's player, or most, popular player, right? Like in all these popularity contests that we've ever done, Jason, Shane Battier and Grant Hill have been 1A and 1B. Like, you could pick either one. So for me, Grant Hill played I think he played mostly 3, some 4 in college. I'm going to slide him into the 4 for this one so I can keep the 2 most popular players in my mind on this list.
Yeah, so power forward, as we've talked about extensively on this podcast, power forward at Duke is a ridiculous position.
Incredible. Yeah.
It's absolutely unbelievable. I went with Zion Williamson because, again, favorite guy who I enjoyed watching the most. Zion did things on the floor that no human being can do. I'm aware that Zion is of the same species as the rest of the players to put on a Duke uniform. I'm not entirely convinced that is a true fact, though. The block against Virginia, some of the game against Kentucky, where he introduced himself to the basketball world with plays. Again, no human being his size should be able to make those plays. We've never seen someone who had the ability to get the ball in a spot on the floor. Every single person in the gymnasium was like, oh, he's going to go to the rim now. Like, he wasn't going to pull up. You didn't have to, he could shoot threes, but you didn't have to worry about him, taking a 3 or something like that. You're like, he's going to put the ball on the floor and he's going to go into the lane. And all 5 guys on the other team knew exactly what was about to happen. And they were all like, yeah, but we can't stop it. And he was going to finish athletically. It was, when you talk about the notion of giddy, the notion of like, I'm going to start laughing and I'm not going to stop. Zion Williamson. That's all you need to know.
So I think that's a great pick. And Jason, as we transition to the 5, my 5 is Zion Williamson. Because
there you go.
I think yeah. So again, this is how I fudged it. But like to add to that, like he's the most exciting player that I've ever seen. Period. Like he's not the best player. He's not the worst. He's just the most exciting, most dynamic player that I have seen. To add to what you said, just every single time from the moment he committed to Duke, where I was giddy on this podcast outside of a bar in San Diego because I just couldn't believe. I was on the phone like, I just can't believe we just landed this guy. Like, this guy was a sensation in high school, and every single time he walked into a gym, every eyeball turned to him, and he delivered so many times in delivering that kind of excitement. Some of the 3 or 5 of the best dunks ever
in
Duke history were by him, including the 360 against Clemson that Sam and I were in the building for, where I almost literally bumped my head on the top of Cameron because I jumped so high. He was just full of amazing moments, and man, I just wish we had 2 more games with that team. Him and Zion and RJ and Trey. That team was absolutely incredible. But Zion Williamson was a big part of why that season was so much fun.
Yeah, so I segued you to your 5 really nicely. So it's time for my 5 as we wrap this up. I went with Elton Brand. I think because it was only 2 years, people, and it's a little bit further in the past, it was in an era when we were used to guys playing 4 years. People don't remember, and he was injured for part of it. People don't remember how dominant, how ridiculously dominant Elton Brand was at Duke University. Literally, first of all, incredible defender, like rim protection. Your team, I know you got Grant, you got Shane, you got Zion, all those guys, but in terms like classic rim protection, Elton Brand. Dude, you were afraid when you went in the lane if Elton was there because the long paw of Elton Brand was there to intimidate. But you parked his butt on the blocks, and the opposing team was like, "We don't know what to do now."
That's 2 points.
We give out 2 points. Oh well, I just crazy. In fact, some of my biggest memories from the 1999 team, which I will say to this day is the best Duke team that did not win a title. My memories from that team are like, why didn't they get the ball to Elton Brand more often? I mean, they didn't need to because they were beating everyone by 30 points at halftime. But I was always like, we could have gotten the ball to Elton like another 5 or 6 times and had another 8 points at least. So, yeah, dude was crazy good at the college level. And, the pity with so many of these guys that we've talked about is that there were like little weird things that affected their NBA careers. And that's why they aren't more legends in the NBA, whether it's, an accident, an injury, or being on the wrong team. In Elton's case, being on the wrong team, being on a Clippers team for most of his career that no one was paying attention to. Or simply having to, like in Shane's case, having to adjust to the NBA and become just a 3-and-D guy. But yeah, just Elton Brand.
Yeah, he was amazing, and thankfully he had a decent career as a player, but now he's carved out a great career as an executive in the NBA, which is terrific as well. So Jason, just quickly to recap. Our favorite teams, our top 5 favorite players from the 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. For me, I have Chris Duhon at the 1, JJ Redick at the 2, Shane Battier at the 3, Grant Hill at the 4, and Zion Williamson at the 5. Jason, you had Jay Williams at the 1, JJ Redick at 2, Shane Battier at 3, Zion Williamson at the 4, and Elton Brand at the 5. 2 incredible lists. And again, it was nice to
very similar,
walk down, very similar, but also it's great to walk down memory lane with some of these players. But we want to hear from you, who your top 5, again, point guard to center, what your favorite players would be. dbrpodcast@gmail.com. We'll read any submissions, and if we get some good ones, we'll announce them on a later episode. But that will do it for this episode. Jason and I actually have to get off because we're going to do more research, and maybe we've recovered one of the episodes we were going to do today, so we're going to get right on that. So stay tuned. There's going to be more from us going forward. But again, dbrpodcast@gmail.com. Send your questions, your top 5 favorite players. He's Jason. I'm Donald. This sound you hear is the Duke Band. They're playing us out and taking us home.
Athletic Brewing Company crafts award-winning non-alcoholic beers for those who want to be part of every round. With over 185 flavor awards, they're exceptional NA beers that fit your lifestyle and any social occasion. Summer's full of good times, and Athletic fits right in. Go to athleticbrewing.com to have brews delivered to your door, or find them at a bar, restaurant, or store near you. Near beer. Athletic Brewing Company. Fit for all times.
There's a new way to sweet green. Meet Wraps. Handheld, hearty, and made for life on the move. With bold, chef-crafted flavors, fresh ingredients, and over 40 grams of protein, they're built to satisfy without slowing you down. Try wraps today in the app or at order.sweetgreen.com. Available at all participating locations.
Mom, can you tell me a story?
Sure. Once upon a time, a mom needed a new car.
Was she brave?
She was tired, mostly. But she went to Carvana.com and found a great car at a great price. No secret treasure map required.
Did she have to fight a dragon?
Nope, she bought it 100% online. From her bed, actually.
Was it scary?
Honey, it was as unscary as car buying could be.
Did the car have a sunroof?
It did, actually.
Okay, good story.
Car buying you'll want to tell stories about. Buy your car today on
Carvana.
Delivery fees may apply.